Hello everyone and welcome once again to the Gran Turismo weekly race guide here. Week 43 now. We're getting ever closer to that 52. And we're with a very common combo here. We're at Fuji and we are in the Porsches. But we'll get to that in just a second. Let's have a look at the race details then. Racing 4 laps here at Fuji. It's a grid start and we're on the Sports Soft tyres. Now you have a choice of two cars, as you know, because we've done this combo many times. It's the Porsche 911 993 RS or the Porsche 911 997 GT3 car. Now, I would go with the newer car. It's the more stable. It's slightly slower, but the stability helps you out massively. And I feel like as we've done this combo constantly, more and more people have gone towards this car over the slightly faster car. Let's jump to the race then, where it is literally Destruction Derby. I am surprised it's still like this, but hey, there we go. Let's jump to it now. We are then at the start. Flash away! Thank you, whoever's on pole, for doing that. We're flashing away in the back there. Obviously, we picked a yellow car. Yellow is obviously the feature of the channel. It has been for many of years. And here we are again. So brake balance -1 at this time in the Porsche. I can't remember what I used last time, but -1 felt okay. And as I always say, with road cars, -1's the best. Traction control on 1. I drop it to 0 before we change gear. Happy days. And we're going to head towards turn 1. And as I say, bit Destruction Derby-esque, this one, as you're about to see. So people go towards the inside, already can't jump ahead. But the driver behind decides to release their brake, pile into me, so I go into somebody else. Keeps piling into everybody. And yeah, Daniel, the pro, not so much of a pro, really, if we're honest. But we're going to continue on all the same. And we're going to head towards turn 2 then. Let's see what happens here. So Bishop on the inside. So we're going to try and go around the outside. Whoa, there's somebody gone well off there. I don't know who that is. That's in the older Porsche. Bishop just gives me enough room there, so thank you. As we come through here then. Up 2 positions. Oh, it's Anthony that went off there. So round we go. And we're going to head towards the sharp left-hander then. And I do really want to catch up to Daniel at this point. I was a bit frustrated with that start because I saw the release of the brake pedal there. To purposely plow into people. It was not very nice. Let's put it that way. So around we go, and we're looking at, we've got a bit of a run here on Lazarus, the Austrian. So we're going to look down the inside then, heading in towards this chicane, the devastating chicane, the dive chicane. So down the inside we go, and we're looking to get it stopped, and we get hit from behind. Woohoo! Bishop outbraking themselves there. So once again, another hit. We carry on, and we've got prototype Steph there. So we're going to try and go around the outside. I was a bit scared about this, to be honest, because I fully expected it to be run wide, but no, not by Steph. Thank you, Steph, for giving me room there. And we get another position. So there's Daniel then, up ahead, the Spaniard. And let's see what's going to happen with them shortly. Obviously, it's not 3 strikes, so I ain't doing anything. But we're going to head in towards the right-hander then. And as long as we're in the slipstream, we are golden here. Whoa! Steph just went flying behind there. I already just saw that as I'm commentating on it now. Oh, dear me. We're going to carry on anyway. Fast forward a little bit. Let's head towards turn 1 then. Very easy to outbrake yourself. I was aware of that. And I instantly saw Daniel go to the inside and knew they'd outbroke themselves straight away. So off they go. Off Madman goes as well, the Italian. Buy one, get one free. Overtaking by not overtaking. You know the rules here. Nice and easy. Into the cursed position. Happy days. So we catch up to P5 then, which is Paul in this Porsche. Now, we're looking on the inside, but it's not really the best place. I didn't really want to overtake here because of the start-finish straight having such a long straight. So I'm setting myself up here with a very wide line here. I want to get a really good run off the corner. Now, if you're going for a time trial lap, you want that sort of line as well. It really propels you off the corner. It gives you a bit of a bonus. Now, we've got slipstream here as well, so this is going to be a double bonus as we look to overtake Paul. He carry a bit of speed there, to be fair. So, going down the inside then. Let's see what we can do heading towards turn 1. Very easy to outbrake yourself here. And let's see what happens. We're actually going to go to a lap guide as well. So, heading towards turn 1. On the right-hand side, you've got the lamppost, and you've also got the little orange thing there that you can use. If you brake at the lamppost, you're going to outbrake yourself in the time trial lap. So you're sort of trying to brake as close to that as possible, and sometimes you'll release the brake a little bit. As you see, I'm doing that. Paul does it as well. It's very hard to judge in this car. Very easy to outbrake yourself. It's better to brake early and sort of release a little bit. Now that's the big tip here for this car. Release a little bit and then carry on. So we made that pass. Happy days. Turn 2. Then on the left-hand side, I use this more and more now. It goes white, then that lightish grey, then white again on the barriers. At the end of the light grey bit, I'm aiming for that. I have to brake just before it to make it, but I am aiming for that. So through we go. We clip the curb a bit better. We'd have done that lap a little bit better. Just a bit of understeer there. Now this right-hander, as you always do, just lift off. Do not brake for this right-hander at all. Just balance the car. When you've lost enough speed, just balance the throttle and you should be fine. Heading down towards this left then. On the left-hand side, you've got all that curb there on the left. At the end of that curb is when you're going to brake. Obviously, you'll be on the right-hand side of the circuit. And you're going to drop to second gear here and try and get it turned in. A little bit late there for me, but even so, it's not the, not the be-all to end-all of the lap. Literally, you can just belt it out of there, no problem, even with a bit of a wider line. Now we're going to go and head down towards the chicken. Head down towards this chicken then. And we're looking for that Dunlop sign. Now, you're braking just before you get to that Dunlop sign. Once again, it's one of these where you might want to brake early and just lift off a little bit. But when you start doing that, you can make mistakes. As you see here, I'm braking. And we get it stopped beautifully. Now, I would stay in second gear there. I had to go to first because it's just a little bit too late. But through we go. And you notice how I can be flat there because I'm in second gear. Be in second gear as you leave that corner. This right-hander, as always, use that tannoy on the right-hand side. Very easy marker. So as that disappears, it's when you're sort of like dabbing the brake and turning in at the same time. You see there, a little bit of 50% braking. Trying to get it round. Accelerate through there then. Keep tight to the left, and then you'll head out towards the right. And as you get to the end of that curb, again, this is where you're going to start dabbing the brake a little bit. Just trying to slow the car down. Get it slowed enough then for this left-hander. It does tighten. So think of you rally co-drivers there. Tightens. Through we go. Accelerate out of there in second gear again. And then we're looking on the right-hand side then. For the orange bit at the end of that barrier there, that is your brake marker for this last corner. And many lines here to take. Some people dive down the inside. As you saw, I took a wide line earlier. This is a slightly different line again. I'm just trying to take a nice line here and try and get the best of both worlds. Didn't quite work out there. Could have done that better. And that is a lap in the Porsche. Are we going to catch up to P4 then? That is the question. Well, we advanced to the final lap, and unfortunately not the case. We could have done with one more, but it is race 8. It's meant to be a sprint race. Very Destruction Derby-esque, as I say, so I do expect lots of contact here. We say that every time we are in this combo, but that is race 8 in a nutshell for you. Right, race B time now, and for that, we head to Brazil. Welcome to Interlagos then, and as you see in the background, we are in Group 4 Machinery. Let's have a look at the race details, first of all. Racing 4 laps here at Interlagos. It's a rolling start, but of course, it's got a 5 year straight, so no need to worry. I'm on the racing medium tyres. Now, this used to be a balance of performance track. Not sure about Group 4 and the balance of performance here. Group 3 were definitely tested here, but I imagine Group 4 would be very close, and it feels like it in the race. As you can see, I chose the Ferrari. A huge thanks to Let9999 from Driver's Room, at Driver's Room, to check them out, of course, on Twitter, etc. And that livery is awesome. Something very different that I've not used before, so thank you very much for that. I chose a Ferrari because I like the Ferrari, and yeah, let's jump to the race then. Let's find out exactly what happened. Here we are at the start then, and yes, you're seeing a replay. So just to give you a heads up, actually before I do that, brake balance of 0. Just to give you a heads up, my Elgato decided to rename itself when I started the daily races. So it decided to go, I'm not called an Elgato anymore, I'm called something else. And yeah, so OBS ended up with a blank screen. However, we're racing now, and let's have a look at the race. This is kind of an interesting race, to be honest. It's got quite a few dodgy driving standards, dodgy drivers in this one. But let's have a look anyway. We're going to head towards turn 1 then. We've got Scirocco in front of us. Mixture of cars in this. Absolutely just all sorts. You see, Nuno got it slightly wrong there into the back of the Megane. But through the Senna S we go. And we're right behind the Scirocco now as we come through here. The Mustang was actually the lead car in terms of the time trial, by the way. I didn't mention that. But at the time when I raced this, the Mustang was the lead car, which is why you will see a couple of Mustangs in here as well. Looking at them, we're too far back here, but the Scirocco thinks, no, they're not too far back. A slight tap to one of the Spaniards. That poor Renault just got absolutely dumped there. They lost 2 positions, I think, and yeah, we continue on and head up towards this right-hander then, and we're just defending here. They back off early. You know, a huge shout-out, actually, to Matil. Sorry if I pronounced your name wrong there, because that was actually some clean driving, and you're just a victim there, which is very frustrating, but clean driving with you. So shout-out to you, my friend. As we go through this left then. Now, Nyrod just cut the track a little bit there. And unfortunately, they're going to run wide. And they're going to have dirt on their tyres as they head into this right-hander. And then they just absolutely go diving into the Portuguese. I have no idea what's going on at this point in this race. I'm thinking, oh my word, get me away from this. A second penalty given, though. So, hey, there is a contact system in place. I know people said there isn't one, but I beg to differ. But we're going to come through here. They have dirt on their tyres still. And now I'm going to try and run away. Problem is, this is a long start-finish straight, so I was really scared at this point, and I was focused solely on that rear view mirror. Let's actually jump to that rear view mirror and actually have a look. I mean, look at this. They're all over the place. I was trying to give it to the Megane mainly because I know the Megane drives clean. But then I've got to take the racing line, of course. So I can see the Megane's made that move. And then I see them darting all over the place. I'm thinking, oh no! Headed in towards this first corner. And they actually clip the outside there, the Subaru. So we survive and we continue on. And we can run away. It's so good. We could break away then. And here's one of the problems for this track is that, you end up breaking away from a lot of the group. As you see there, and that's an Audi TT, Red Bull Audi TT going off there. John Player. And they're going to get a penalty for that, unfortunately. They go towards the right, and they actually just let off here and let me go, which is very kind of them. Thank you. You don't have to do that, but through we go. So you can see now that how the pack's broken up. So it's very much hard to then get a decent race out of it. So we'll go to lap number 4, and we're going to do the track guide as well, as we always do. Heading towards turn 1, you're looking for the second red pit box on the left-hand side. Not the first one, which you can see dulled out here, the second one. Brake just before that, and come down the gears. Keep it tight here. Better to take this tight and then open up the second part of the center S here, because then you don't have to lift as much and you can fly then through this left-hander here. And this is where you want the speed, because you've got this long straight then. As you can see, some action up ahead with an RCZ and a Subaru. Where did the Subaru get so fast, by the way? I have no idea. Anyway, heading towards here. You're looking for that little tarmac piece there, trying to brake as close to that as you possibly can. Don't do what I'm about to do, which is go a little bit too close to the right-hand side and lose the rear end a little bit here. As you see, I catch it just there. You just got to be careful of that. You don't have to be that close to the right-hand side of the circuit. But through we go, and you can see they're having a good little battle here, the Norwegian and the Brit, as we head up towards this right-hander then. Now, I've stopped focusing so much on the tyre marks on the track and started to try and use this 50-meter board more often. So I'm braking before this, and I'm going to drop a gear and turn in. So I think I've just dropped a gear already, maybe? I can't even remember. Yes, I have. I just dropped it there. And then just before you get to the second curb is when you accelerate out of the corner. And then I'm going to use the tyre marks here, as I always do, for the marking. There's the brake marker. As the tyre mark comes and intersects with the curbing, that's when you want to brake. So that here. And then you want to cut the inside as much as you can, like so. And then as you get into this left, it opens up. So I brake a little bit here because I didn't want to hit the Subaru. But generally, you don't normally have to brake, or it's a tiny, tiny bit of braking. Don't worry about it too much. And then as you head up to this right-hander, try and judge it based on that light green, dark green sort of stuff on the left-hand side. I call it AstroTurf usually. But basically, get as close to the end of that and then turn in. Cut a lot of the inside curb and just put your foot down the minute you can. Now, MR cars can do this corner flat. Other cars, FF cars, definitely can't do this corner flat, so just be careful. Head towards this left-hander then. On the right-hand side, you'll notice it's dead grass. It then goes to a bit of a live grass and then that circle bit of dead grass. I've always used that as my brake marker, so that is what I use here as we hit the brake in. And then you can cut a little bit of the inside, as the Subaru does there. I could have taken that a lot more aggressive, and I didn't. But unfortunately, we're not going to catch up to them. And as I say, when did the Subaru get so quick? When I drove the Subaru, it was so slow on the straights. It's like they had a secret buff somewhere, but I don't know. As I say, that is going to be it in terms of this race, Race B. You can have some good racing, but be prepared for some very open spaces as well. Let's head to Race C. Welcome then to Laguna Seca for Race C. Now, this is a track we've been to many times, and especially in this class of car as well. Group 3 machinery. Let's have a look at the race details first of all. We're racing 14 laps here at Laguna. It's a rolling start, which is irritatingly bad. Seriously, can whoever did Spa do all the other tracks, please? Racing car tyres. I've put star there because it's a required pit stop. However, do not change your tyres. You are pitting, but not changing tyres. New usage is ×2, and tyre wear is ×4. As I say, this is an interesting one because it's a mandatory pit stop and you don't change tyres. I kind of like these and don't like these, and you'll see why in the race shortly. Now, I chose the Subaru because I wanted a bit of stability. I figured this would be best for the guide because at the end of the day, this is a very stable car. It's very good at Laguna. It's not the fastest at Laguna. The MR cars will be faster. However, it's there or thereabouts, and you can have a good race with the Subaru. So let's jump to the race then. Let's have a look at exactly what happens. And apologies for no livery, but I don't have a livery for Subaru. Let's go to the race. Here we are then at the start. Obviously, the El Gato has been sorted. I fixed it rapidly between races. And we're starting P17 here. Some familiar names there. Quinton in this one, of course. And let's see where we start then. So I put brake balance -1. You will see 0 initially. I went to -1 during the race because it just felt a little bit more stable through the old corkscrew. The chicken, the ultimate chicken, should we say. But here we go. I put traction control at 1, just a bit of safety. As I say, tyre wear requires tyre temps, or getting the tyre temps up at least. They do exist when there's tyre wear. So you do have cold tyres on this first lap, as you will see at turn 1 in just a second. So do weave a little bit, get some warmth into those tyres as much as you can. It's one area I do struggle with at the start of a race in multiple games, not even just Gran Turismo. So heading in towards turn 1, and you're going to see I'm just going to run a little bit deep here, but I managed to bring it back nicely. I love the first corner here. So nice to do. So let's advance a bit further on in terms of speed and power. There we go. Look at this. Quick as. So we're looking on the inside of Jacko here. Now I see a yellow flag, so I'll back out of that completely because I know somebody's gone off up ahead. As you can see, they're a ghost, and they're just reappearing now. So I'm trying to look the best place to overtake Jack. At this moment, it's like, well, I could cause an issue here. So literally, let's get on the inside, outside. And Jack gets his stop there beautifully. So I'm going to look round the outside in a second. As you see, the situation got it wrong there. So Jack just made the wrong decision there. Down the inside, we just leave just enough room there. My word, that was tight. But we do leave just enough room. And Nicky ahead is going to slow right up here, but going to drive into the pits, which is lucky for us, which means we're going to gain a few places here. Now, this is one of those things with this race in the fact that you're looking to just stay out of traffic, and that's what the mandatory pit stop's there for, to, you know, bit of strategy. When do you pit? When you catch up to somebody. Up ahead, somebody's going off into the barrier there. I hope barrier treated you well there, Mr. Spaniard, or Miss Spaniard, whoever you are. We've advanced a bit further on again, and we've caught up to this pack this time. We've got Wombat Drongo. We've got, who's that? Robin as well, as we head into round. So at this point, I'm thinking, right, I need to come in this lap because I'm going to get held up here. However, 2 of them dive into the pits. I'm like, okay. And I see a yellow flag as well. So somebody's gone off on the last corner or done something weird. So we get that position as well. So every time we caught up to somebody in this race, they dived into the pits. Once again, we're catching up to a Porsche here. So in my head, lap 4 now, I'm like, okay, I need to make sure I come in the pits this lap then. If I don't get held up here. So through the left-hander we go. Oh, wow, that Subaru went off a little bit there. And then into the right. And you're about to see Chinese Chan up ahead, go into the pits, and also another Porsche. So I'm like, oh, okay, I'll stay out once again, gain some more positions. So round we go. And Quinton has pit at this moment in time. You just can't see him yet, but he's got the fastest lap. So at this point, I'm like, okay, I need to overtake the Subaru very quickly so I don't lose any time. I was expecting him to go over to the left, sorry. They didn't. Then they went over to the right here, so I'm going thinking, all right, I'll go down the inside. They left tons of room there for me. So, I mean, thank you for that. Much appreciated. So we get that position up into P5 then. Or not necessarily net P5 just yet, is it really? So we're going to advance to lap 5 now. Lap 6. And this is my fastest lap of the race. It's not the quickest thing in the world, but a track guide for you. Head towards turn 1. You're going to brake just before the 3 or the white line on the right-hand side. Now, if you want a really detailed Laguna Seca track guide, which points out everything, check out the end of this video. I've done one of them really detailed guides. Now, you want to click the first curb, go out, and then come back in it, and try and click that second curb there. Run out towards the exit there. Head towards left-hand side, and then your brake marker there is the gravel, the darker gravel. Braking just before that. Don't go too far to the left because you may clip the sand and gravel and you may spin out, so just be careful of that. Avoid hitting the sausage on the right-hand side. Accelerate through the corner. Now, as you get to this corner here, you're sort of just lifting off, really. So you notice I'm not doing anything here. There's no brake. There's no accelerator. At the end of that curb, as it comes towards the track, that's when you start to turn towards the corner, and you should make that corner safe and sound. I'm balancing the throttle a little bit there, trying to maintain that bit more speed. If you wonder where you get lap time, it's maintaining that extra mile an hour in a corner if you can. Now, this corner here, on the right side, you've got those billboards. The first billboard is your brake marker. So just brake just before that. You can see I'm on the brakes here. I'm going to drop to 3rd gear. And then I'm just going to bounce the car again through this corner. Notice I'm bouncing and then full throttle. And it's stable as you like. Now, this corner, very tricky. And one reason why I'd use an FR car here, if you struggle a little bit with Laguna. So as you get to the number 2 board, you see I'm braking a little bit here. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to let the car roll a little bit through the corner. And when I know I can make it, I then go on the throttle. Rolling, rolling, rolling. And then we go. So yeah, it's not the quickest way of doing it, but it's a guaranteed safe way of doing it. And that's the thing you need to remember here. You've got to survive. We've seen a lot of yellow flags already in this race in particular. Head towards the corkscrew then. Just before the 3 and the white line here, you want to brake just before that. So the closer you get to it, your braking distance increases massively. So just be careful of that. Stay in a higher gear for the corkscrew. It'll stop your wheels spinning up. So I do it in 3rd gear here in the Subaru. Again, not the quickest way of doing it, but the safe way. Always do it the safe way. Head towards this right-hander then. Just before the red and white starts there on the curbing, you brake. Now, gearing, I was a bit unsure here. 3rd and 4th gear both work. Depends on which line you take. But you see I dropped the 3rd gear in this instance. And through we go. And you see P3 goes in the pits now. So I have nobody in front of me. Last corner on the left-hand side, you'll notice it's a very dark, sort of grey-black area, and then it goes to a light grey that I've highlighted down the left. I use that as brake marker. Braking before that, though. Before that hits the end of the screen, I'm braking before that. And through we go. And that's that lap done. I think it was like a 22.3 or something. Nothing major, but hey, it's all right. P16 there, the Citroen still struggling. They're off into the gravel. They get reset again, and we just belt it into the pits full on. Now, the tyre pit crew come out with tyres. I say no thank you. And we carry on. So around 20 seconds for a pit stop. Just keep that in mind. Let's come around here. There's P16 again. The Citroen really struggling here. Probably advised not to use the Citroen unless you really know how to handle that car. But yeah, 20 seconds for a pit stop-ish up into turn 2. So just keep that in mind. But nothing really happens. And that's why I kind of half like this mandatory pit stop and half don't. Because I overtook a lot of people by not overtaking and by letting them pit and then fight amongst themselves. But you can see the strategy in there. So some people will like it. Some people will not like it. Congrats to TBA DLV. I think that's a new name. I've not seen them before. Quinton got P3 there. Well played, Mr. Pleb. But that is it for this week. A very short one this week. I do hope you've enjoyed it. Now, do give it a like. If you did like it, it helps me out massively. Costs you nothing. Subscribe to the channel if you want to stay in touch with all the content. There are 2 videos there that you can check out, including the Laguna Seca detailed guide. But that is it for me this week, folks. Thanks again for watching, and have a good week of racing. And I hope to see you in another video or live stream very soon.